in a minute. Yes, and we are live. Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Pastor Deborah Barris coming to you from the Heart Matters radio show in Baltimore, Maryland, where we get to the heart of the matter. It's so good to be with you. We've had a sunny, breezy kind of day today, but we're thankful for the weather that we're having here. How are you all doing? I pray that you all are doing well and having a wonderful, wonderful evening. We're already at the end of March. It's just hard to believe that we're already at the end of March already. And it's like time is just moving by so fast. It's getting ready to be Easter already. And we just, had New Year's and now it's almost time for Easter. But I am so excited. This month is Women's History Month. And this month we've been talking to some awesome women. I was just sharing, we God created us to have abilities to do all sorts of things, and we're just so excited about the many things that God has shown us that we are capable of doing. I always say that we're the women that can be cooking dinner, and at the same time we're cooking dinner, we got the baby on the hip, and we're talking to somebody on the telephone, and we're helping somebody with their homework, and we got a load of clothes in the laundry, doing all these things at one time. But there are some things that God has allowed us to do and become that we're like, wow, didn't think I would be doing this. And the other thing I was saying is that in the beginning of the pandemic, so many people who couldn't go to work had to stay home, and you had so many people finding out that, hey, I can do this, I can do that, I can do the other. And they found out that they had all of these abilities. And so I wanted to share this month. We always talk about the women who have paved the way, the women whose shoulders we, stand on, and have paved the way for us. And so I just wanted to share with some of my friends, I call them friends that I've known and met, who are doing some remarkable things, and that's why I call them ordinary women doing extraordinary things. And I say that because a lot of times we think, well, I need this, or I need that, or I need the other to accomplish things. But when you think about it, God uses ordinary people to do extraordinary things, and I'm so happy that on this week I was able to get this busy, 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 busy lady who's doing remarkable. I love her spirit. None other than Kimmoly LaBoo. Let's all welcome her to the show this evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good evening, Kimberly. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, we are just so excited to have you. I see pipe people popping on. Pastor Wanda, good evening. Good evening, Breezy. Good evening, Mary. I see people popping on to be a part of this show this evening. And so I'm just excited. Um, this is the first time I can actually say that I know of a publisher. A lot of times we meet people and we come in contact with people and they talk about writing a book, but they never get it finished. They start it and they may say, I have a journal, or I wrote a little bit of stuff, but I don't know what to do or where to go. And I can actually say, wow, I actually know a publisher, not just a publisher, but her own company that she has decided to embark on. I just think that that's just absolutely fantastic that she has done this. So I told her I wanted her to come on and to share some things with us. But before she does, let me give you a little bit of her bio. Um, Kimmoly is an accomplished speaker, author, award winning publisher, and certified master life coach with a passion for empowering others. She is at the helm of LaBoo Publishing Enterprise as CEO and founder. Her award winning publishing company was created for the independent self publisher to provide expert guidance and unlimited support to help them recognize their brilliance by sharing their accolades and awards for her work. With over a decade of experience in the literary industry, she has become a respected leader in the field of writing and publishing. Known for engaging and informative presentations, Kimmoly has inspired audiences around the world to reach their full potential and achieve their goals. As an author, she has 18 published books. As a publisher, Kimmoly has helped countless aspiring authors bring their work to life and reach a wider audience. Her passion for helping others and dedication to her craft have made her a true inspiration to many. As the host of her own TV show, Write the Book TV, Kimberly provides a platform for established and aspiring authors to showcase their writing skills, share their experiences, and offer insight into the writing process. Kimberly believes we all have a story to tell. We just have to be willing to dig deep and find the courage to release it. Wow. She has appeared on Think Tech Hawaii, WPB Networks, Heaven 600 Radio, ABC2 News, Fox 5 News, and has graced many stages speaking and training to include the Global Literacy Conference in Ghana, West Africa, the Department of Veterans Affairs, Blacks in Government National Training Conference and Coppin State University. And I'm going to stop right there because there's a lot more I could probably say about Kimberly. And I know this isn't all of her bio of everything that she does, but I want to introduce to you this evening and present to others none other than Kimmoly LaBoo of LaBoo Publishing Enterprise. Amen. Woo, woo, woo,
Amen.
woo. We say welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank
Oh
you.
gosh, I read that bio. That got me right excited. You have been busy, little lady. You have been busy. Oh my goodness, that is
Yes.
just so, so beautiful. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, what is a publisher?
A publisher, the type of publisher that I am is a book publisher. So someone who or our company sees an author from the very first word on the page all the way through to publish and on Amazon and other booksellers. So it's the complete process of designing the book cover, editing the book, the formatting, layout, and design, the website, all of the things that it takes to get you from the conception of your idea all the way to the completion of your book.
Wow. That's a lot. That
It's a lot
entails a lot.
involved in it, trust me.
And look,
I think
it
there
may
are,
sound a little simple, but I'm pretty sure that is a
yeah,
lot.
there's
So,
a lot of
but
steps
I'm
involved, but
curious,
that's what we're here for.
okay. So what made you decide that you wanted to embark upon this?
Well, I didn't decide, God decided. From the very early, stages of my writing, I started writing back in 2006, and when I started writing, it was a part of my own healing journey. And
Oh.
I never thought that I would continue to write. I just wrote my first book because I was in a place where I was bitter and angry and unforgiving. And God was calling me to a place of forgiveness, calling me to forgive. And I said, and he wanted me to talk this forgiveness out. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And so God said, if you can't speak it, write it. And so that is where my writing journey began. And I never thought that it would turn into all of this, right? 18 books later. I never thought it would turn into all of that. I never even considered myself a writer. I wasn't a little girl who sat and journaled a lot or wrote or, did anything like that. And so that's why I truly know that God called me to this and started my writing journey. So I didn't choose this path. God chose it for me.
Oh wow, that's beautiful. And it's
Yeah.
interesting to know that you said you didn't start out with a lot of journals, because a lot of time when you talk about writers and different things, they like have been journaling all their life
Yeah.
and writing things down and been interested in it. But that wasn't your case.
No, it wasn't. I had a well, back then we called it a diary, right? Had the little key and lock when I was a little girl, and I didn't want to write anything in there real because I felt like my mom was going to find it one day and read my thoughts, and so I would never fully write in it. As I got older, like much older, I started maybe some journaling as an adult, but it's not even something that I do a lot now. So it was never, I was never a writer. Um, so it's just interesting to me that this is where I am. But God had a
Exactly.
plan, right?
God had a plan, definitely.
Yeah.
So what was the title of your first book?
The title of my first book was The Passion in My Soul. And it was a book of
Mm,
poetry and short story. And it was really me pouring out my heart about all the things that had affected me deeply up until that point. And I really, when I wrote it, I told a couple people here and there that I was writing the book, but the book got so deep and personal that when it was done, I just wanted to slide it under my mattress and leave it there, right? And so then people kept saying, "Well, what happened to the book? Didn't you say you were writing the book?" And I was like, "Yeah, I finished." And they were like, "Well, where is it?" I was like, "It's on Amazon." They're like, "But you didn't tell nobody." I was like, "I know."
ah,
But
right.
I went through that process, and then God began to show me that the book wasn't even about me. Like, as people started finding it and reading it and telling me how it had impacted them or how they could relate to my stories, relate to my struggles, and how it helped them. And, I've realized in that moment that it wasn't even about me. And that writing, when we're sharing our personal stories and testimonies, that it's not even for us. Our struggles and things that we go through don't really have anything to do with us. It's for us to help somebody
Right.
else.
Right. One of the things that I've heard you say is how writing is a way of healing. Can you
Yes,
talk
there is
about that a
healing
little
through writing. Yeah, that's one of my favorite sayings. You all hear me say all the time. There is healing through writing. Um,
bit? Mm,
in my forgiveness journey that I was going through, when I first started writing that first book, it was so healing for me, and I didn't realize that I was still holding on to a lot of things that I was holding on to until I started writing. I was like, "Where'd this come from? Like, all of this is in there?" And so even
mm,
with me working now with other people, I began to see, wow, there really is a transformation that begins with putting pen to paper, right? With writing out your thoughts. And I've watched women particularly go through stages of healing as they are writing in these different book projects, and it's just been such a
mm.
beautiful thing to watch. And that's why I always tell people there is healing through writing.
Yeah, yeah. What are some of the fears that go along with telling your story per se?
People worrying about what other people are gonna say, what other people are gonna think, whose feelings you might hurt.
Mm,
Um, will they believe me? Will people judge me? Um, will anybody buy the book? Who really wants to read my story? Those are some of the big ones that people struggle with and that we have to work through. I can tell, I talk to primarily women, all the time about their stories. And they'll sit and I'll stay on the phone with them for like an hour. They'll tell me a whole beautiful story and testimony. And then at the end, be like, well, but I don't think that's going to help nobody. Like, what?
Mm.
You just told me this incredible story that has encouraged my soul, and you don't think it will help anybody? But that's some of the things that people struggle with. They, you know, don't believe that sharing their testimony is going to help someone else. And it's the complete opposite.
Right, right, right. And I think that even I remember the first book that I wrote, and after I wrote it, I didn't want anybody to read it because it was like
Hmm.
that was me, and it was
Yeah.
truth. But
Yeah.
so many people came to me and talked about how the book helped,
Yep.
them get through things. And so when we share our story like that, it's really helpful, to other
Yeah.
people. We just have to get rid of the fear of thinking that nobody's going to buy it or nobody wants to hear me. Oh,
Yeah.
I
But what?
just I'm just fill you in on Louise. Tanya Young just said this publisher is amazing. I'm grateful for her
Oh,
ministry of empowerment. Worked on 2 projects with her at the helm. All right now. Yes,
oh,
yes,
thank
yes. Breezy
you.
say working with Kimmoly gave me my second, her first, made her first best-selling author title, and gave me my second bestseller title. I tell you, these people are so yes, yes. And it's so
Oh,
good to know people like this. So we just thank you for that. So I'm
amen.
still dealing with the writer part before we get to the publishing part. But
Uh-huh.
what do you feel are some of the biggest challenges as a writer?
Challenges as a writer can be time. That's a big one for most. How can I find I don't have the time to write? But there's so many, different ways to get around that. I tell people, you can use your voice recorder. Well, now your phones like handle everything. You can talk into your phone, have it send it over as a script, have it transcribed. Just anytime that you get those downloads for whatever it is you're writing about, taking those notes, jotting it down, leaving yourself a voice note, and then pulling all that stuff together. So a lot of people nowadays don't have unlimited time to just sit and write. So you have to fit it in, make the commitment to write. Um, and then make yourself do it, make it a priority for you. But you can fit it in different areas and at different times if you don't have that dedicated time that you can give to it all at once. So that's a big one, is the time factor. And really, it's just excuses. Because we could do whatever we
You
want to
said
do.
excuses.
It's just excuses, right? The time, the money, like how can I afford to do this? There's a million ways to do this stuff. And so it's really about just eliminating the excuses. So anything that you could come up with a reason as to why you couldn't write your book, I could dispel the myth.
I'm a witness.
Promise you. Yeah. No
I'm a witness.
excuses. No
Yeah,
excuses.
because
Because
I
we make
do.
time for what we want to do.
I think one of the biggest things that I learned was thinking that, well, why should I write a book? Because there's millions of books out there. So
Hmm.
why should I write a book?
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
as you said, your story, even though it may be similar to another person, your story is unique,
It's your
you
story.
know,
Yeah.
and
And always, yeah. And
so
there are people that are assigned to your voice specifically that may not be, they can read the same exact message from someone else or hear the same exact message from someone else, and it's not going to resonate with them like it would you, because they're assigned to your voice and your message and the way that you would say something and the experiences that you bring to the table behind that message, that may not necessarily be what someone else had behind their message. And so you have to keep in mind that your voice is assigned right? And there are people who need you to tell your story. And it has nothing to do with all those books you see up there on the shelf. Every story is unique, and we are all assigned to someone else.
I love that because there'll be people that you can reach that I
Yes,
may not be able to reach. So I love
absolutely.
that though, that there are people assigned to your voice. I've never heard it
Yeah.
said like stated like that,
Hmm.
but it just makes so much sense, and that
Yeah.
helps us in knowing that if God tells you to write something, He already has the plan in place for those people that are
Absolutely.
going to, you know, that are going to read it, the people
Absolutely.
that you're going to come in
Yeah.
contact with.
And it's not
Go ahead.
always your friends and family.
Take them off the list first, right?
Take them off the list. It's not always I have people will get upset because they feel like their family is not they're not supporting me. I wrote this, at least they could buy my book, or this friend or that friend. It's not for them. It's not for them, right?
Wow.
You didn't write the book for them. So why are you getting upset because they didn't buy it? It may not be for them. Of course, we want, our friends and family to support us, but it makes absolutely no sense to get upset if they do not, because that's not who you're writing it for anyway. It is so much bigger than that.
Right.
So much
Right.
bigger.
And that's the key, realizing that it's so much bigger,
Absolutely.
because when we think about it, then it's like, well, I have a few friends or maybe my family, but we don't think past that point.
Right.
But like you say, it's, so much bigger than that, that the
Yeah.
influence or the effect, the
Hmm.
impact, all of those
Yeah.
things that what you write could have on somebody else. That is just awesome.
Absolutely.
I like that there are people assigned to your voice. I'm going to be
Hmm.
using that, and I'll give you credit, but
You,
I'll
you
be
can have it. You
using
can
that.
have
But
it. We'll share. We'll share
yes, yes, yes.
it.
So, okay. So now we can talk about how you got into becoming publisher of LaBoo Publishing Enterprise.
Okay. So it was completely God. I had, so I had been writing, and you had written, some more books, and publishing was nowhere on my radar. I did an anthology. I wanted to write a book about divorce, and I was writing it for the faith-based community,
Hmm.
because at the time I felt, well, first of all, because it was my story, right? It was my story. I was sharing my story of going through the process of divorce as a Christian woman. And so when I began to write it, God showed me that it wasn't just about me, and that I was supposed to pull some other people in from the faith-based community that had gone through that, to also share their stories of, what happened, beginning, middle, end. We all started with the fairy tale, and what happened, right? And then where we were and how we were able to pick ourselves up and thrive again, right? And so I was writing that book. At the time, I was living in Hawaii. So I wasn't even in Maryland,
Wow.
living in Hawaii. And I reached out to some of my friends back here, and asked them about being a part of this book. And they said yes. And so I came back to Maryland, to do the book launch. So we wrote the book, got it published, and went on to have the book launch. And it was when I came back, because at that I had been holding, book boot camps, write the book boot camps, and helping other people, because once I became a published author back in 2006, people were always asking me, how do I do this? How did you do that? And, so I began to share those things. And so I was working with people, trying to help them to get their books published. And so I would do all the work, get them to the finish line, and then send them somewhere else. And so when I came back to Maryland, did the book launch, flew back to Hawaii, I was in my house, laying on the bed, and God began to speak to me about the whole writing thing. And he had me to write down all of the women that I had helped to publish books since I had started this in 2006. And now we're talking about 2018. So big gap, right? 2018 is when all this started.
Right.
And so I was laying there. So I wrote down, the names of all the people I had coached through the process, who I had helped get published. And the list was kind of long. And then God showed me that my name was not anywhere on there. It was not anywhere in it. Like nobody would know, unless the authors decided to share, and that it was time for that to
Right.
change. And so then, excuse me, he dropped LaBoo Publishing into my spirit. And I was like, okay, God, well, what's that? Like, I'm not anybody's publisher. But then he began to show me, like, I had all of the necessary pieces of the puzzle. I, had built community. I had, relationships now with cover designers and people who did layout and design, editors. Like they were all now a part of my world, right? And he showed me that I had everything necessary to do this. So then I was like, okay, well, this is kind of intriguing. And I'm not the type of person to sit on stuff real long. When I hear God speak, I'm like, okay, what's this about? I get real curious, right? And so when I started thinking about it, I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that would be awesome. And so I just, from there, I went and created the business in 2018 in Hawaii. And, and it has been flourishing ever since. It's just been amazing. I've learned a lot, I've grown a lot, but it was never my plan to be anybody's publisher.
Because I mean, when I think of publishers, I think of the books that are on the New York Times bestseller list and those
Mhm.
big publishers, you know.
Yeah.
So when I think of
Yeah.
a publisher, but to actually say I know a publisher, like that's
Yeah.
just absolutely beautiful, that you
Yeah,
were
and
able
there are
to.
millions of people who will never be able to um, access the Big Five. We call it the Big Five publishing houses that we call traditional publishing, and so to be able to help people who thought they would never be able to attain the title of published author, to be able to walk them through that process and have a published book in their hand, like that never gets old. Seeing that excitement of the authors that publish with us just never gets old. And so I love it.
Yeah, and it makes it more personable when you're actually dealing with people on a local level. When I say
Yes.
local, I mean, it's not just people like when I published my first book, it was through Zulon Publishing and
Mm-hmm.
Zulon Press, I mean. And it was a nice experience, but it wasn't personal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But to
Right.
be able to have somebody that you connect with and you're doing,
Yeah.
a book with that makes it a little personal, it really, really feels good. That's just, I mean, wow,
Yeah, we
that just
say we have the LaBoo Publishing family. Like once you publish with us, you family. You're part of our family. And that's one of the things. Like when I published my first 2 books, like through someone else, through a publishing company, and there was no real personal touch. Right. Everything
right,
was via email. You're never really talking to a person, and you might be able to call customer service
right.
and get somebody every now and then after you go through like 10 prompts. And I wanted that more personal feel to our company. And we've been able to maintain that even as we've grown. We've been able to have a touch point with our clients that I think makes the publishing experience a lot more special.
Mm, wow. Mary says, thank you for pushing me to tell my story. It was
Yes,
challenging for me,
Mary.
but you helped me press through. Yes.
Yes.
Tanya says the connection. Yes, Tanya, that connection
Yeah.
it means a lot. It really, really does. Because it's like it can be a little stressful when you're
Mhm.
embarking on something that you've never done before, especially when you're going to be sharing your personal life.
Yeah,
You have
absolutely.
to be taught how to do that. You don't want to just as I heard the expression that I learned in working with you, you don't want to bleed on people.
Yeah. Bleed all over the page.
you you got tears on every page. It's like, no,
Yes.
we got to fix this. So,
Yes.
to know that there's somebody that's doing that, that's working to help us. That's true. And I'm pretty sure more and more with so many things going on that you're finding out that there's a lot of people that got a story. There's a lot of
Absolutely.
people.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Yes. Wow.
A
This
lot
is
of
really,
people.
really something. Oh, this is such good information. Everybody, everybody, this is really, really good. So, um, I guess that my next question, and you probably already talked about it a little bit, but
Mhm.
how are you helping others become successful?
When I first started with writing and publishing and everything, right before that and along the way, I was doing more coaching, and mentoring than anything, right? And so when I started
Mhm.
publishing, I didn't see, I felt like I was putting down one thing and picking it up something else. But God quickly showed me that my skills as a master life coach certainly come into play,
Yes.
in this publishing, and helping women to see the value in their story, and not just women, because we have male authors as well, but the majority of the people that I work with are women. But helping people to share their stories, to release pain, to begin a healing process, to see
Mm.
their worth, to start their business, then for people who have businesses to add additional streams of income to their businesses. And not only that, the fact that I am a publisher and I have a team means that our company is contributing to someone else's household, and someone else being able to, um, I don't know, eat, drive, sleep well, any of those things, right? And so that always blows my mind, is that, we pay people, right, as a business. And so we're helping people in so many ways, to see themselves as credible, to see themselves as successful, and to help them to be able to share their stories and then go out and impact the lives that they are meant to impact now that they have released their story, right? And so it's just like this domino effect. Like, you start here, but then it's a
That's what I
trickle
was
down
getting ready to
effect,
say.
of how it all plays into the lives of others.
That's beautiful. That is really, really beautiful because we have um we don't really see all the lives that what we do we don't get to see because somebody gives it to somebody gives it to somebody, and we
Yeah.
may not personally see all of the people um that what we do is helping. So
Oh,
for you to say that, that's just, like you say, the domino effect of it. And
mhm.
so it's more to this than just publishing a book.
Oh, absolutely.
It's,
Absolutely.
you know, yes,
Way
there's
more.
more
It's
than
way
just
it's way
publishing.
more to it. It's just so much bigger than that. It's like God's plans always exceed what we can even imagine or think, right? And so, I didn't see any of this coming. And he's still adding. He's still adding, right?
That's
Um things that I just never even dreamed I would be doing. And so it's just been such an incredible journey. And I've met so many amazing people along the way that I never knew before starting this journey. And I've been able to meet, being able to serve so many wonderful people in this way that have added tremendously to my life. It's just been an incredible journey.
Yes, I can only imagine that. I mean, just when you think about um helping a person reach the point of completion of a
Yeah.
particular project, you know, and
Mhm.
them not knowing what it's going to be like, but then to actually reach that point. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just a testament to God. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing, just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I
And
never get tired of seeing the authors receive the books, right? You know, I've seen them scream, I've seen them cry, you know, that reduce to tears, complete and utter joy. This thing is driving me bananas. Um, but just the joy of holding the book, and sometimes they're just so in awe that it has happened. And it's just so beautiful. I still feel that way when I publish, right?
yeah,
And get
yeah,
then the box comes and the book is in hand. It's just such an incredible feeling, and it never gets old. It never gets old seeing the excitement on my authors' faces when they finally get to the finish line. And so it's just so incredible.
yeah. It's like birthing a baby almost. You know, you
Yeah.
go through
Oh,
this whole
yeah. Yeah.
process. You
Yeah.
birthing a baby, and to be
Yeah.
able to do that.
And for
And
some people,
so
it's that painful too. Some people, the
yes.
process of getting through it is that painful because a lot of the people that I've had the opportunity to work with, like I said, they are healing through the process. They are sharing, you know, things that have deeply impacted them. And so, you know, we've had to do the work to push through in order to get to that finish line. So yeah, well, like you talk about, it's like birthing a baby. With some of my clients, it has been I've been the midwife.
Yes, I'm pretty sure because
Yeah,
it's like, I mean, going through the process of helping somebody to say, I have something that I want to share. You
yeah,
know, I have something that I
mhm,
want to share, but I don't know how to share it. And you
yeah,
being able to walk them through that process to help
mhm,
them so that they can um, be able to share it in a way that they never thought that they could, you know,
yes,
that they never
absolutely,
thought they could. And so then when you get to the end and see the finished product and you're like, wow,
yeah,
you know,
it's
I made
joy,
this accomplishment. So I mean
yes,
that's I'm
that's
pretty
one of the
sure that
best
makes you feel
feelings.
real good.
It does, that's, like, the best part, always,
I
always,
bet so. I
yeah.
bet so. So, you also, and I saw, well, I'm not attending, but tell us about your writers retreats that you do.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's actually coming up next month. We are only about 2 weeks away, I think, but we have a
Oh,
writers retreat that we do, and it's a intimate writing retreat, that we keep the number small because we want to have a certain impact, right? And so we
mhm.
rent a big, gorgeous house, off the water, and so we come together, we have workshops, we have roundtables to discuss writing and to discuss the things that they're learning throughout the time there. It's over a weekend from a Friday to a Monday. They come in. We have an in-house chef that stays with us and cooks all our meals and feeds us well. It's just incredible. It was so beautiful last year. I said it was so good that I knew that it had nothing to do with me and that it was all
Mm.
but done by God's design because it was so perfect, from the women who came together, and it's the Serenity Women's Writing Retreat. All the women that came together and everybody just gelled so well. It was a peace and it was truly serenity, right? On the water, the sunrise, the sunsets were right there, and it was just really beautiful. But they come, they learn, they get a chance to write, get critique on their writing, get feedback, ask the questions that they need asked, if they want to steal away and just get that quiet time. Because, like I said, for a lot of writers, they can't find the time, the dedicated time to just sit and write. And so we have that built into the retreat as well. There are times when you just break. Everybody goes and finds a cute little cubby or something in the house and just sit and write, think, reflect, and do all the things necessary for
Mm.
them to get their thoughts out on paper. And so it's a really, good time. And we have fun. We do our little um, PJ parties and all that kind of stuff. And so we
Yeah.
have a lot of fun. It's a very supportive environment. And really, it's just a beautiful thing to see the writers come together and support one another and get what they need to feed their writer's spirit. So it's beautiful.
Mm.
And so we're looking
That
forward to
sounds
it in
really
2 weeks. Yeah.
that sounds really, really sounds good, and a lot of times you
Yeah.
don't think about a writer's retreat per se,
Mhm.
but it
Mhm.
makes so much sense when you want to get your
Yeah.
thoughts
It's a
together and have
beautiful
that
thing.
place of serenity so that you can quiet down and
Yep.
and get your thoughts out
Slow
and
your
different things,
pace. Yeah. Slow your
and to
pace.
be able to learn, to
Yeah.
learn from others because you have
Yeah.
guests coming in to talk
Yep.
about
Guest
different things, and
speakers.
so
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's nice.
that's
I'm looking
that's
forward
that
to
really,
it.
really right. So how often do you have them? Like once a year?
Yeah, annual.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's an annual
Okay.
annual retreat. Yeah. Yeah. It's like I said, we're looking
Wow.
forward to it. In 2 weeks, we'll all be headed to the big house and having fun and supporting one another. And so I'm looking forward to that. So, and
This is so
that's another one of those things where I did not see that coming. Like,
what do you mean you didn't
I didn't
see it? How did you
I
get
didn't see that
there? How did
coming.
you
My writers,
really?
yeah. When are we gonna have a retreat? When are we gonna go away? When are we gonna do something? And so I was like, that might be a good idea. And and like I said, if he drops it on me, I don't sit on it for too long. And I began researching and planning, and here we have it. And it was beautiful,
Right.
beautiful.
Right.
And so yeah, I that wasn't something I saw coming. I didn't see any of this coming, really. But God did.
Isn't that amazing? You didn't see any of
Yeah.
it coming, and look at God, just
Yeah. Didn't
to
see
have
any of
birthed
it.
all of this from you.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
really, really a testament to what God. There is no secret, as the song say,
Mhm.
what God can do.
Yeah. And to have
Just
it
when
be
we make our
successful from day one. To
yeah,
have it be successful. And a lot of our, well, pretty much all of our clients come by word of mouth, and I don't take that for granted. I don't take that lightly. I'm so honored by that.
that's
We don't do a whole
beautiful.
lot of advertising and all of that kind of stuff because we haven't we just celebrated our 5-year anniversary, and we've never been without clients since 2018, and a full list of clients. And so I got a strategic, and it's just been a blessing. Because I didn't know that this would be a part of my life, but now it is my life and I love it.
That is just
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful. This has been a pleasure. We're talking to Kimmoly LaBoo of LaBoo Publishing Enterprise. Mary says she enjoyed the writers' retreat and looking forward to going in a
Yes.
couple of weeks. So,
Yes. Yes. I
yes,
got the fuzzy socks. I
this
got the
has
fuzzy
been
socks. My
this has
writers want
been
fuzzy socks.
you have dropped so many nuggets, so many gems tonight. um,
Amen.
to help us, because I know that there's some people watching that feels like, I could tell a story. I got something.
Mhm.
But I know of people, and that's why I've even talked to you about doing an anthology, because I know of
Yeah.
people that would be are ready to write their story, but they may not be ready to write an entire book. So we
Right.
just thank the Lord for that.
Yeah. Anthology is a
And I
beautiful
just want to
thing.
go back to this.
Mhm.
Yeah, yes, I'm excited. I'm just trying to work it all out here. Work it all out here. Yes. I do plan on doing it. That's in my plan for
Awesome.
2023. So it's in my
Awesome.
plan for 2023. But I just want to go back to this statement.
Mhm.
Kimberly believes we all have a story to tell.
Yeah.
We just have to be willing to dig deep and find the courage to
Yes.
release it.
Yes. Yes. The courage. And that's a big one, the courage.
Mm,
And like I said, that's where my journey began. It was all about, that healing and what God was calling me to do. And then having the courage to release it because once it was written, and I kept writing stuff and I was like, oh God, I'm supposed to put that in there too. Like, and
yeah,
it was scary. It's scary because you are literally
yeah,
um, putting yourself out there for other people to do what they will, judge, but judge or be healed, you know, judge or find freedom. You
right,
don't know
right.
what the impact is going to be. And so it can be a scary thing. And so that's why I say you just have to dig deep and find the courage. Don't ever let fear stop you from doing a thing. Because on the other side of fear is just unimaginable things. And I'm so glad that I found the courage to step out because look what God has done.
Exactly. And the thing about it, I think when we realize that when we do find the courage to
Hmm.
do it and understand that we're not doing it for us, it's
Absolutely.
going to help somebody else.
Absolutely. It's
It's going
never
to really
never about
help
us.
somebody else.
Yeah,
You know, I mean,
it's
we're going to
never
be
never
healed in
really
the
about us.
process. Yes, we're
Yep.
going to be healed in the process, but it's not about, you know, just
Yeah.
us. There's going to be so many people. When I learned that there were people that I remember with my first book, my aunt would take the book around to people and she said, I want you to read this, but I got to get it back. Give it back to me. And she did that. She kept doing it and doing it. I
Wow.
said, you don't have to. She said, no, people need to read this. People need to hear this. She was so, and
Yeah.
I was like, and these are people that I didn't know that
Yeah.
were affected by it,
Hmm. Yeah.
that helped to bring healing to them. So these things
Mhm.
are
Yeah.
definitely so important. I am so glad that you were able to come on to be a guest on my show this evening. And
Me too.
we have we have learned so much from you this evening. You make it seem really simple. You make it seem easy. You make it seem like, wow, it's not hard, but I know that it's a
Yeah.
process that you have to, go through and everything. But we thank God for you and all that you have shared this evening. How can people get in touch with you?
Well, I'm on social media, of course, just my name, Kimmoly LaBoo, on Facebook, on Instagram, LaBoo Publishing at LaBoo Publishing, or even on TikTok at LaBoo Publishing. What am I missing? TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, that's enough. And they can reach us at www.laboopublishing.com and also at staff at laboopublishing.com is our email address. If they are ready to write, they can find us there.
All righty then. That's the information. Thank you, Mary, for posting the website on there for us. That's
Oh,
great
thank
information.
you.
Um, and I'm pretty sure that some people will be getting in touch with you to just have a chat, thinking
Yeah.
about some things.
Yeah.
So That's so
Absolutely. We
important.
love
So
to
we
have those
just thank God for
conversations.
you. Yes, yes, exactly. Because a lot of
Yeah.
times it's the conversation that helps us because you have a way of connecting with people that
Mm.
helps them to be relaxed about sharing.
Amen.
You
Amen.
have that way with people, and that's just so beautiful because then people don't um how sometimes you can talk to people and say, well, it's whatever you want to do, it's just, yeah,
Mm.
you can do it, but you have this unique way of having a conversation that helps a
Mm.
person to reassure them that you can do this, and you need that, you
Yeah.
need those people in your corner that become accountability partners, I call them, to
Mhm.
hold you
Yeah.
accountable and everything, so that you can get the project done. So we are just so thankful that you are here with us this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. And I've been battling my green screen over here, but it's life. This is real. This is live stuff going on over here. So just continue to pray for me and I'll pray for you. But as I always say, we've come to the end of a perfect day. Why do I call it a perfect day? Because God does everything perfect. Everything in your day may not have been perfect, but the day was perfect. And so as you go to bed tonight, take time to think about those things and reflect on some of those things that God did for you in the course of the day, and go to bed with gratitude, knowing that God has you and that He is concerned about you. We thank God for Kimmoly LaBoo this evening, and we pray God's blessings upon you as you go
Thank you.
forward. We speak favor and increase with
Mm.
minimum obstacles, because obstacles are going to come, but minimum obstacles. Amen. And we thank God for all
Amen.
of the work you're doing and the way that you're helping people. We really, really appreciate it. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, reach out to Kimmoly LaBoo Publishing. If you're in, and maybe you're not ready to do a project, but you're thinking about it, have a
Mhm.
conversation. Have a conversation with her, and she'll be more than glad to help you. As I close, I always pray for each of you that God will just continue to allow the blessings to flow, that you'll be abundantly blessed in all areas of your life. We speak healing over those whose sickness. We speak healing over those who are going through the grief process and the loss of loved ones. We serve an awesome God, and we're just thankful for all that He does for us. So, as we close on tonight, I always say, I love you, but God loves you best. And always remember that your heart matters. Peace.